Good morning. I am still working with my Queen of Hungary uh, that I'm going to be making, and yesterday I went out and picked the fresh that I had, and then I took the dry, and instead of doing the recipe that I had in one of the books where they did it by teaspoons and tablespoons and, well, no teaspoons, all by tablespoons, I did another one by volume, and I weighed it on my scale. And I'm going to give you the recipe out of the book with the tablespoons. Well, and maybe I'll talk about both kinds, but I'm making it because I want to use the rosemary, even though it doesn't have a lot in it. And this morning I'm even drinking some rosemary tea with honey in it. And to do that, you should use the dry honey. I think is easier than the fresh, the dry rosemary instead of the fresh rosemary. I think it's easier. Okay, this I'm going to read just a little bit. It was the first herbal product to be produced and marketed in, oh wow, I got the dates wrong. It was 1370, it says. I wonder if that's, because I read another place, well maybe, okay, maybe it was just, is that the, okay, the 14th century. Okay. And anyway, she used rosemary infused in wine, and it was to relieve pains from rheumatism and gout, and it was to make her look good and younger. She used it on her skin, and that's where she got so young looking at 70. The 25-year-old Duke proposed to her, but I think if that had any credibility to it that he really did, I think he was poor and she was rich. Our daughter went to France one summer, and Frenchmen would run up to her and say, "Marry me." I mean, they wanted to go to America, home to here. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you what's in mine. It's a little different. Every recipe, if you'd look it up online, you'd probably find all sorts of recipes that are different. And what I put in mine is the lemon balm, lavender. Lavender isn't in the book recipe. Chamomile, roses, calendula, comfrey, and I want to tell you about comfrey. Both recipes have it. Comfrey, now, they say is not safe to take internally, but for hundreds and hundreds of years, people have taken it internally and not had any problems. And when they tested it, they gave mega doses, more than you'd ever drink or ingest, into rats, and lo and behold, they got sick. I forget what they got, but they said, oh, it's not safe. Well, we don't do that. If we would ingest as much as they do on these tests of anything, it would put us out of balance. So, okay, but I just want to tell you that. So if you're worried about it, don't use it internally. I'm going to, but that doesn't mean you want to. Okay, and then it has the rosemary in it, and mine has mint. I wanted to put elderflower in it, but I'm out of it. But I wish I had some, because I think that would really add to it and give that nice immune defense mechanism in here. So what I did yesterday, and you saw me pick some of them, I let them just dry out a little bit. Some of them I put in the dehydrator just for a little bit. And then I measured them all out. And instead of you seeing me do it, and mine is in 5 parts, 4 parts, that sort of thing. And the book recipe, and I'll try to write the book recipe in the description instead of telling you. So, and it was in the book recipe, it says you can put it in a 12-ounce jar. So I got out a 12-ounce jar. And then I promptly saw wouldn't fit. So I got out a 16-ounce jar. Wouldn't fit. So I finally went to the quart, and it's going to be in there. And then what you do in this mixture, I'll just put in the apple cider organic with the mother vinegar. Ooh, I think it's going to take it all. I better stop right there. It's got a little more in it, but I don't want to run it over. Okay, and then, again, this will sit for 4 weeks. And I plan to use it on my skin. I plan to drink some of it. I might even make some salad dressings out of it. I'm not sure on that. Depends on the flavor. But I think it could have a nice flavor and work. So there it is. And it was said that the gypsies just, of course, used it for everything. And I'm going to tell you, because I really am quite taken with how good rosemary is. I'm making the Queen of Hungary water, but rosemary is called the Queen of antioxidants. I think it is one of the top antioxidants that we have. So that makes it really good for fighting cancer. And some of the properties in our constituents in the rosemary are what they, and I'm not sure if I'm going to say it right, but it's carcinoic acid, and these two things help suppress and kill cancer cells. And they found especially it worked for leukemia. Okay, rosemary also helps with dermatitis, helps your memory, cancer, cirrhosis, blood clots and strokes, urinary tract infections, and ulcers, diabetes. Oh, and one thing I would like to say, because rosemary has antimicrobial products in it, properties in it, you could use it for cleaning a cleaning solution. You could just put some rosemary and let it infuse in your white vinegar and use it to wipe and clean your counters and to clean your house with. It would be a very good cleaning product because of the antimicrobial and it's antifungal. So really good things to clean with. So we're just going to wait on that, and I'm going to add 2 other things. You see some bread here. This is a mistake bread. This morning when I turned on the oven to get it warm, I failed to see if my baking stone was in there and my pan for the hot water, and it was not. So when I put the water into steam, when I realized and it was time for this to go in, I just put them in. I should have left them in to get warm and not have put this in right away. For one thing, it stuck a little bit to the baking stone. If the baking stone is hot, it won't stick. And then when I poured the water in, it didn't have that burst of steam right away. And what that steam does is glaze this crust, and what that does is to keep the bread moist. So this bread will probably dry out sooner than some of the others. So, but it'll be eaten. But I should have had my rosemary tea before I did it and remembered to put it in. So I'm going to do a little more on rosemary, maybe tomorrow, and I'll show you. But I'm going to let you go, and you have a good day, and our little chicks are growing. And don't forget to put rosemary into your dinner today.